everybody, welcome to the next instalment of the Apex interview series. I'm Tim Britton, your head of community. If you haven't joined us before, Apex is the first challenge of its type, of its kind here in the UK, where we are challenging you to scale your own Everest. Now, if you can do it, we challenge you to climb the Helvellyn Peak in the Lake District 9.2 times to accumulate the total height of Mount Everest in a 48-hour window. Sounds a bit daunting, right? But don't worry, because it might be that your Everest is just making one summit. It might be 4 summits. It's completely up to you. That's the goal of what the Apex Challenge is all about. But what we're doing here and now is we're kind of coming behind the scenes and we're introducing you to the community. We're letting you get to meet all the different types of people that are going to be on that adventure with you. And it is an adventure that we're going to be doing. And there is no better individual to talk to than the guy we're going to be speaking to tonight, which is the wonderful Kris Gleave. Now, I'm going to bring Kris in, quickly unmute his mic and add him to the stage. Here he is. Kris, can you hear me?
Hi, Tim. Yeah, I can hear you.
Brilliant. Okay. This was the first thing I said to Kris, because he, like, number one, he's got this wonderful background and he's got his fire going. At the moment, I'm still working out of my makeshift room. The new one's being built as we speak. It's nearly finished, but
letting the slide down.
It's great. I know, I'm trying my best. And then it was technology talks, but it's great to have you on. It's an amazing opportunity because you, like, I love watching and looking at all of your YouTube that you've got and your Instagram account and stuff, because number one, we're going to probe about your pictures because you're a photographer and a videographer kind of by trade, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, always done it all my life.
So we're going to definitely start asking you some questions about how we take better pictures up mountains, because mine never look as good as you. And between you and me, if you've got any tricks about how to take pictures with balloons up mountains, Lindsay definitely needs that advice, because if you saw the picture of her trying to get there. Okay, but let's kind of dive in, because you absolutely love hiking. It's a huge part of kind of your I suppose your life now.
Yeah.
But you started hiking with quite a bang, because so I'm right in saying that your first hike was not only quite a challenging hike, but you decided to do it up Snowdon, the highest mountain that we have in the UK and in England and Wales, and you decided to go up there as your first hike. So maybe you can let us know how that came about.
Well, do you know what? I'd never hiked before. Never really thought about it. I must admit, I would have took my car to the. Is my camera still on there?
No, we've just dropped you.
There.
Well,
bear with me. I'm not sure what's happened there. Are we back on?
No, we've still just got a little circle.
There we go.
See, now we're back on. Technology. I told you, sometimes you love it and sometimes just drives you mad.
There we go. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened there. It went on sleep. Right. Yeah. So basically, many years ago, I used to, I'd drive to the corner shop. I was pretty lazy, didn't really do much. And a couple of lads from work said, right, we've got this challenge and we're going to climb Ben Nevis in 6 weeks' time or 7 weeks' time. Do I want to do it? I was like, no, I don't hike. I was talking to him for, a few days. And in the end, I agreed, go on, I'll have a go at the challenge. So because I'd never hiked before, I literally went out that weekend. I bought some top of the range boots, pants, all the gear, no idea. And the following week, I went up Snowdon with one of the lads. Just up the Clanberries path. I know it's a tourist route, but I'm telling you, it's still steep. It's up and up. It's a long slog as well. It's 9 miles. So I did that. I must admit, I found it tough. My legs were killing me. Not used to doing that. But really got the buzz for it. 2 weeks later, I did it again. I did it with another friend at the time, thinking I'll do a little bit of training. And then 2 weeks after that was the big one, Ben Nevis. So we drove to Ben Nevis. I got there a day early, had a nice little relax. And on the day, admittedly, I found it really tough at the time. I think this was back in 2009, if I remember rightly. The two lads who I was with, they summited about 40 minutes before me. I was lagging behind. There was snow up there. But I absolutely loved it. It was the best experience. And it literally gave me the passion for hiking. And when I came down, I think it took a couple of weeks just to settle in. And I decided to sign up for Kilimanjaro 9 months late to do that in 9 months. I've got a son. My son was very ill at the time, and I thought, what a great way to raise some money for charity. So yeah, I signed up for Kilimanjaro, and all that was the start of my hiking journey.
Well, that often tends to be the thing, doesn't it? We try something, we get the bug for it, and then we make that huge leap. Well, there's two camps. There's the one camp of people that go, well, I'll just do a 5K, I'll just do those little runs, and then there's the other people that go, I'm just going to bypass the marathon and I'm going to go to an ultra, and that's kind of what you've done. You decided Kilimanjaro, yeah. And you know, I think it's phenomenal. When you were raising money for charity, weren't you? Was it the Manchester Children's Hospital?
Yeah, that was for the Kilimanjaro, Manchester Children's Hospital at the time. Yeah, for the Children's Oncology Department, which was great. Obviously, with a good cause.
And have you done lots of charity kind of other events and stuff before? Have you done it for different charities? Has that always been a bit of a driver for you, or do you do it more for the kind of the personal fulfillment you get?
Well, I do it for myself. I have raised quite a lot of money over the years for the same charity. As I say, you know, they looked after my son, so I've done it a lot for them. But I've done things like, you know, I used to do a lot of obstacle races. You name it, I've done it, and I've done some of them multiple times. You know, survival of the fittest, tough mudder, rough runner, hell runner, badass mucker. I've done them all, and some of those I did. I raised money just like generally, but not for a specific event. I just used to throw myself in, and every week or every 2 weeks, I used to do a little bit of a challenge, whether it be a 10K, 5K. I used to turn up in fancy dress. You know, I'd turn up to a run, everyone's in proper running gear, vests, you know, all very professional, and I'm turning up in a in a curly wig and a tutu.
What was your best fancy dress outfit?
Probably one of the tutus. I just put it online to say, I'm going to do this charity run. Has anyone got anything they want me to wear? I had bright pink, blue, curly wigs. I've had slitted glasses, running in those, all of it. And I turned up in dress, and they've said, "Are you here to raise money for charity?" I'm like, "No, just just something different."
This is just me out for a Sunday stroll. I just happened upon this event and thought I'd join in. All right, so you kind of started in, and obviously you've got the bug for it now because you love wild camping as well. So when did the wild camping element to kind of this adventure or this sort of hiking love come in?
That's come in more recently. So I've always liked the idea of it, but as a kid, I never really went camping. I went out with cubs a little bit, but I've never really camped. I think Kilimanjaro was my first proper camp, halfway up the mountain. And then I'd probably say in the last 3 years, 3 to 4 years, and that's with, I made a decision to stop watching TV. I don't watch TV, don't listen to the radio, anything like that, but I watch YouTube. That's all I watch. So I ended up watching things I was passionate about. So, photography, videography, and hiking. And people like Paul Mesner and lots of other of the key guys, I used to watch their videos. They'd hike, they'd wild camp. And I used to think, I'm missing out really. That's something I think I'd like to do. So I bought myself some very basic gear at first, and then I've kind of built it up from there, and I absolutely love it. There's nothing better than, I love a massive hike, pushing yourself in a day, get up early, finish. But, and now I'm starting to enjoy, let's go out a little bit later in the day or hike somewhere far, get on a summit, get a lovely view, hike, camp, cook some food. Oh, I love it. I'm addicted to it now on gear.
All right, so this is the question as well, because some of the pictures you've put out, so like recently on some of your socials, have been beautiful, breathtaking, mountain tops, the snow, the views, and then I see your tent, and I'm like, oh, and then I saw the picture with you kind of had like the tent door open and stuff, and it looks so cozy inside there, and I was thinking, is it really is it true what they say? Like, there is no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing. Is it the same like with your camping gear? Can you be cozy up on the top of a mountain in the snow?
Yeah, do you know what? And it depends what you say by cozy. So, for example, on my recent pictures, I've got the door open, the snow, it looks white, the sun's just rising, it looks beautiful. What you can't see is like the 50-mile-an-hour winds that were battering me at the time. But you've obviously got to have the right gear to be able to get there. Then you don't want to be cold. That's another thing to look at. But the other thing is your tent gonna survive? And I think if you've got a decent tent or a tent that you rely on or you've tested, you are comfy and cozy because you're not worried that is a peg gonna come out? I'm gonna get blown off the mountain? So that comes your security first. Then you learn to get your right layers so you're nice and warm, and then it is enjoyable. Don't get me wrong, if you're there freezing and the tent's battering and you're wondering what's going on, it's not a nice place to be. Yeah, I've got good gear now for over the years. I've learned what works for me.
Well, I was going to say, so because one of the great things about these interviews we're doing is it gives us an opportunity to kind of go off on all these different tangents. And you've done some seriously long hiking, because you did coast to coast as well, didn't you? You've done 192 miles coast to coast.
That's right. And to be honest, that was kind of on a whim. Not too long before that, I did the Yorkshire Three Peaks. Now, I've never done anything like that before. I've done my hikes, and I do I might do 7 Wainwrights in a day, or I do these routes, or 10 in a day, or 4 in a day. I do these routes, but I'd never done anything of distance. So out of the blue, I did the Yorkshire Three Peaks. I decided 2 days before to do it, bought some lightweight trainers, and I thought, hiking trainers. I did that, and I found it tough. I did it in 8 hours 51, but by the end of it, and I ran for some of it, by the end of it, my legs were in bits. And it was only not so long after that, I decided I want to do like a long distance hike. And I was actually looking at the Pennine Way, which is even further. It's 265 miles, I think. And I kind of decided at the last minute, it's a little bit bleak up there. There's not much to see. So, I'll have a look at the coast to coast, binge watch loads of everyone's videos on YouTube. And basically just decided to do it. So, even like this challenge that we're doing now, this Apex, I've never done anything like this before, but I'd never done the coast to coast before. So all of a sudden I've gone from the furthest I've ever walked is 42K in one day once for the Yorkshire Three Peaks. It's probably 20K apart from that. And then I signed up and did the coast to coast, which was I finished it on the morning of the 11th day. And it was, I was walking 30K a day or 192 mile in 11 days. And I never thought I'd be able to do it, carrying my gear, but I did it. And it tops Kilimanjaro. It's the best.
Really?
Best thing I've ever done. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay. Tough. All right. So, there's so many. I've got so many. This is the thing. I love it because I've got a whole list of questions that I've planned out. And all those questions at the moment, I'm like, forget that. Because I've got a whole load of other ones I want to now ask. So, okay. So let's just backtrack a little bit. So the first thing is, why do you think that was the best thing you've ever done then? What made that particular adventure, what made that particular journey something that really resonated with you?
I think it's a few things. Firstly, I'm probably, I'm quite well known in the hiking community because I've done it a while. I run a few of the Facebook groups and things, so I'm kind of quite well known, and people know I'm a solo hiker. I love being on my own, doing a challenge, doing big hikes, things like that. And it's always been about solo for me. I help run some groups. I have been on some group hikes, and I actually run my own now, which I really, really enjoy. But at the time, I didn't always go on the group hikes because people go slow, or, I'm not unsociable, very sociable, but I just decided that they kind of weren't for me. Now, the coast to coast, one of the main things I took away from that was the people that you meet, and they make it. So, there's a guy now, I did the Dales Way last year with a guy that I met on the coast to coast. I've met really good friends out of it. The people that you stop, you talk to them, what's their story, what's their experience. And, some people you might stick with for the whole race, the whole event. Like, you walk on your own, and then that night you might bump into them again. You might overtake each other a few times. And for me, I took away that actually people make this. I want to do the coast to coast again. I'll probably do it again this year. I'm nervous about doing it because I know it won't be the same experience, and it was so good last time. The other thing is the challenge as well. I never thought I'd be able to do anything like that. You're walking through some beautiful areas, the Lake District. It's a renowned walk. It's something on a lot of people's bucket list. So that you're doing this. You've got to camp. You've got to work out how to carry your things. You've got to plan the route, the weather. There's loads and loads of things in it, and I just love that. I just love that challenge. It seems a shame, but I feel like I need to.
It's that thing though. We quite often as humans we get very kind of attached, and we form habits very easily. We tend to go back to the same places. A lot of people, they'll go into a restaurant, they look at the menu. 9 times out of 10, those people know exactly what they're going to pick because they never look at the menu, and they eat exactly the same thing. You go abroad, they eat the same thing instead of going, no, I want to try different things. I want to experiment. But it's clear that you're that person that goes, no, I want to experiment. I want to try these different things. And there's nothing wrong with every once in a while going back and kind of going towards that same event. And I think that's great that you are going to go back and try something new, but also that you loved it because it had that challenge. It had that kind of trepidation, that can I do this? Can I achieve it? That excitement of this is going to be tough, but I can feel like it's going to fulfill part of you, part of your soul. It's going to give you something.
Kilimanjaro, for example, that was amazing at the time. Don't get me wrong. We actually got no views. We were above the cloud. All I saw was, it was like being on a plane for the whole thing. I just saw a cloud below us. Amazing experience. But again, it was the people, the people you meet and things like that. So, and don't forget, I know it's still a challenge and you've still got to get to the top, etc. But you're walking as a group and everyone's, it's coordinated. You're getting up here, you're camping here, you're doing this, we're walking this far, you're going slowly. You haven't got this on this. This is, I didn't know how long it was going to take to do it. I kind of had an idea. I had 10 days in my head. No idea why. Just did. I did it on the morning of the 11th day. I could have finished it in 10. But, and again, everyone focuses on do it in this many days. I've done it in 9. I've done it in 12. And I learned, again, it's not important. Go, just experience it and take your time. Now, I did rush a little bit, but I enjoyed it. But the people you meet, the places you can go, I loved it. You probably tell them that, I recommend anyone trying it, and you will achieve it. You will get round it if it takes you 3 weeks. It's got to keep going.
But that's what we want. We want people to experience stuff. So, okay. So another thing is, I'm gonna have to make you think of limit this though. So, someone who's obviously done lots of lengthier and more endurance-based events, you've done a lot of tough challenges, multi-day challenges and stages. What would you say would be, maybe to someone who's coming into this, maybe someone who's taking on the Apex challenge for their first kind of ever big multi-day thing, big challenge? What would you say would be kind of 3 pieces of kit that have been your absolute go-to, your realizations of, that is worth its weight in gold? Those are 3 pieces of kit that I wouldn't be without on a tough event.
Right. I can think of 2 straight away, but I'll have to come back to this one. So the first one I'm going to say is your boots, right? Because I switched many, many years ago when I did my Kilimanjaro or my Snowdon. I bought this big pair of Asolo flame boots. They took crampons. They were amazing. I spent about £140 on them, half price at the time. I had them for 12 years. I used to love them until they eventually had no grip left and I had to buy something new. And when I decided to do that Yorkshire Three Peaks, I bought a pair of Adidas Terex Free Hiker GTX. Anyone who follows me knows I love these shoes. I've had about 4 pairs now. Now, they're a game changer for me. I used to have a little bit of hip pain when I used to walk after a while, and I put it down to having boots and things. And people have trail runners. Again, not for me. I don't want wet feet. I don't care if my boots dry. They dry quickly. I don't want wet feet. Since I bought these, they go on. I use them for every single hike, apart from Windsor. I've just got some chunkier ones. But, I can move quickly. They're comfy. That's the key. They've got cushioning on the sole, because heels, when you're walking on different terrain, they take a battering. So for me, you get the best pair of shoes that fit you and are comfy, that are not heavy. And for me, it's Adidas Terex. Best thing I've ever bought. Secondly, a water filter. I don't like carrying water. It's heavy. But again, Yorkshire Three Peaks, I ran out of water. I forgot my filter and it was a nightmare. It was the hottest day of the year and I had no water for the last 2 peaks. It was really tough. So everywhere I go, I have a Katadyn B3 water filter. Used to have a 600ml. Now I've got a 1 litre one. It's amazing. Goes on every hike, every camp. Keep that with you. You could fill it out of a puddle if you had to, and you can filter it and drink your water.
Nice.
Number 3. I don't know. I'm a YouTuber. I've got to say my GoPro. I've got to say my GoPro. Because for me, it's about the hike. It's all about the hike and the camp. It's all about enjoying it. But if I can capture it while I'm doing it, and I've got a record of what I've done, and it's always there for my daughter to see or me to look back on. That's important. I want to be able to capture what I've done. So those 3 things. GoPro's not fun, but there you go.
No, but it's just important. And this is the whole point. I think a lot of
in fact, I'm going to throw one more in. Link it to the water. Sorry, electrolytes. Electrolytes Electrolytes. I had on my race last year. I forgot my bag of electrolytes and I struggled with cramp. I use them for every single hike because I don't drink enough water, admittedly, but keep drop an electrolyte in. Have one in the morning, one at night. Game changer. Without those, difference.
Cramping, I can deal with. I have to take salt tablets with me now as well, because when I've done like my triathlons and things, I can sweat quite a lot, and I was finding I was getting rings of salt and stuff. And I tried to bend down at one point to go, I need to give my quads a bit of a stretch. Tried to bend my leg back and was like, no, I'm going to cramp, and I couldn't do it. So I agree.
When I did the last year, I did it with Andy from Backpacking UK, and anyone I've ever hiked with, they're always behind me. You know, I'm like, you know, I don't go to the gym, I don't train or anything. I just hike here and there, but I'm a good hiker. And I felt like I was holding him back because I was cramping. I was cramping in my chest. I was cramping in my legs. Literally never had cramps so bad. I was struggling to walk at times because of electrolytes, and a few people on the trail giving me some of theirs, which kicked me on. So yeah, I'll never forget those again. There
we go. Top tips. Make sure you take your electrolytes with you. Okay. So let's just dive back. So I suppose one of the other things as well that I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about, and I've seen a little bit of this in your socials at times. I think I know you said that you've done a little video on this now as well. Is one of the key things for a lot of us getting outside, getting in the fresh air, trying to get in the sunshine. A big thing for a lot of people is trying to use hiking, getting outdoors for helping their mental health, for improving our mental health. And I know that we spoke a little bit about this, that, you know, a little while ago, a year or so, you struggled with your mental health a little bit. And I know you were saying at the beginning of this year, you'd struggled with mental health a little bit, but you found that there are some ways that you've kind of used what you're doing to try to fight against that and trying to get you back into a routine. I wondered if you could just kind of tell us like how this helps you with your kind of mental health.
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I think you need to push yourself to do what you're passionate about, because when you go out and do it, you're going to feel so much better. But that's only half the battle. You know, a lot of people message me and say, oh, you know, you've really inspired me to do this. I can see you're so passionate, and I've got out and I've done this. And sometimes I feel like a fraud because I've struggled myself to get out. I want to hike. I want to go out. You know, I've got my bag down here somewhere. My bag's always packed, ready to go. And many a time I've packed it at night, set my alarm. You know, I've made my food, got everything ready, got up the next morning, and I just can't get out. I don't even really know what it is. And I think I mentioned Stephen Reed on YouTube posted a video recently about SAD syndrome. And this time of the year, the darker nights, not getting vitamin D. You know, I work for myself at the moment, so I don't see that many people. I'm always in. And I think you can get yourself stuck in a rut. Now, it's going to be different for everyone, but for me, I think what you need to do is plan to go with somebody else. If you're in the similar position, plan to go with somebody else, because you can't let them down then. For me, it was my girlfriend. We'd planned to go on a hike. You know, I was still planning the route at midnight the night before. I know if I was on my own, I wouldn't have gone the next day. But we went, and it's kickstarted me back on. And now I've been out on solo wild camp, you know, last week. I can't wait to go on my next one. But it's about pushing yourself to get out. You will feel better, you know, with other people. If you don't want to, you know, just with one friend, you don't have to go as a group. I know for me, I had people reach out, come on this group hike. I thought, oh, you know, it's not for me. Not for me at that moment. But it's difficult. It's a difficult thing, mental health, but doing what you enjoy. And if you're struggling to get out, you know, reach out to somebody else and you know, baby steps, if you like, just to get out.
Yeah. And I agree. I think it's a big thing. And obviously, if there are people that are watching this that are tuning, and maybe, you know, you haven't done lots of hiking before, you're trying to get into it, you've signed up for the Apex, maybe you're not quite confident enough to go and plan your own routes or something like that. I would say, and I could pretty much assume that you would back me up and say, you don't necessarily have to go to the biggest pieces, the most complicated routes, the biggest peaks or anything. Just get yourself outside, get your bodies moving, and start that process of getting going. Because once you start, like you said, it builds that momentum, it builds that progress, it builds that want.
The thing though is exactly what you said is correct. In a way, I'm the opposite. I find that if I've not got something meaty or something to, if I'm going to go to the Lake District, a few times I've come and just recently just done one peak, done a camp and come down. It's very rare for me. I feel like I feel like if I've not ticked 6 Wainwrights off, it's a waste of time for me. And then people have said, "Oh, just go local," and I think, what's the point? It's not going to. But I think you've just got to do that. You just got to get out. If you need yourself because I think sometimes you can overface yourself. You can think, I've got to do all that, and it's the dread of, oh my God, I can't be bothered to drive 2 hours to get there, and
Yeah. And sometimes it can be difficult, but it does so much for us, and it's an amazing thing. So let's dive in really quickly now. So talking of meaty hikes and meaty things, the Apex Challenge.
Yes.
Here we go.
Wow.
2 days non-stop up and down Helvellyn. Now you're not doing this as an individual, are you? You're actually doing it as part of a team?
Yeah, doing it as a team of 4. Probably something I can push to do on my own, but I saw it was a good opportunity to do it with 3 good friends, and it'd be a good challenge.
Yeah, I think it'll be really exciting, because I think one of the things that's quite nice about the team element of it is you can do it. You can all hike up as 4 if you want to, but what also is you can have 2 going up and then 2 resting at the same time. So it means that you can really kind of challenge pace options and things like that as well. But I was kind of interested to ask you kind of how you feel about the idea of doing it as a team, knowing that most of the time you're predominantly a solo hiker. You like to do things on your own. And yes, you interact with people on the hike, but how do you feel like thinking about the event as it's going to be a bit of a team one? Does it create a bit of, I don't know, a bit of that sort of nervous excitement going, oh, this is going to be something that's actually going to mentally challenge me a bit more being part of that group, or are you not phased?
Yeah, well, I can't say I'm not phased. I'm the whole challenge. Trust me, it phases me. But I think with our team, we've got, I'm not gonna say a mixed bag. It sounds awful, but we have got a mixture. We've got somebody at the extreme of, I know one of our team guys he'll be running up there, And the thing is, if you're going up in 2s, it's putting pressure on. That's putting pressure on the person who's going with him, which might be me or Andy. I really don't know. And we've got some people will walk slower, some will walk quicker, and I know that some people might have to take more legs than the other guys as well. So I don't know how it's going to pan out, but I'm putting pressure on myself because I don't want to be, not that anyone would let us down, but I don't want to give a bad account of myself. So even if someone can only do 2 and someone's got to do 4, that's fine, as long as you give a good account of yourself. So that's where the pressure is, I think. And I think we'll get on. We've never, all 4 of us, been out together. I've only met one of the guys on one event before, another one I know well, but I've never met him. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
So I've listened to quite a few adventure racing books and things like that as well. Are you guys going to try to maybe meet up a couple of times pre-race and do a couple of hikes, or are you guys going to go cold turkey, meet up on the day and go, here's our plan, off we go?
Well, I'm hoping that's not the case, but yeah, I do want to meet up beforehand. So, a bit of a training run, maybe we go up and down twice in a day, which, and do a wild camp or something. It'd be great. Andy, one of the guys I'm doing it with, I did the race with him last year. Mm-hmm. Now we're doing the again this year. I can't remember when I think it's after this one, actually. I think it's in November. Yeah. but we'll probably do another event as well. We'll probably try and sneak another one early in the year to get a little bit of practice. So yeah.
That'd be good. All right. Okay. So still staying on the kind of the topic of Apex and stuff, there's a couple of questions that we tend to ask everyone. So I know that we've spoken a little bit, because normally I'd say, what's one of your happiest memories of an event or anything like that? But I'm going to ask you that question. But is there a particular memory across all of the different hikes you've done that really stands out and that sort of says to you, do you know what? That was a moment for me that I just will never forget, and like why it was so special.
Ooh, tricky one. You know what? I really don't know a specific event. What I'll say is, and it's not really a big or a specific time. I'll just say when I did possibly when I did my I did the Cumbria Way last year, and I did the Dales Way, and then 2 weeks after I decided to do the Cumbria Way solo. God knows why. And I planned it over 4 days, and I did it in 3. My last day I did 55 kilometers. Nearly, I was walking for 12 hours. I didn't finish till 8:30 at night. Honestly, I felt like crying at one stage. It was, you know, I filmed it on my GoPro, and it's all very nice on your GoPro, but oh, listen, it was a challenge, and I never thought I'd be able to do that. I thought I was going to struggle doing the event anyway. So close after the last one, my legs were in bits, and even though no one will see this, I never really filmed it, but you know, I was almost emotional for the first time, and it was probably the first time ever I can say, maybe the coast to coast, that I was proud. I'd never say it out loud to somebody. I've just said it now, but that I was actually thought, God, I'm proud of what I've done there. And I'd never pick myself up or accept praise normally, but for the first time ever, I thought, God, I've done all right there. You know, I can't believe I've done it. Didn't get home until 1 a.m. You know, it's a long day.
For me, that makes me happy. For me personally, disregard anyone that might be watching this. For me personally, hearing you say that you're proud of yourself, knowing now that it's something that you maybe don't say or don't struggle with, because I'm a huge advocate of people giving themselves praise, because we're very happy as a society to kind of berate ourselves and go, oh, you didn't do that quick enough, you weren't fast enough, you didn't try hard enough, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this. Whereas it's very difficult for a lot of us to go, do you know what? Well done, mate. You really stuck it out. So I'm going to say, well done, mate. That's really cool.
I've done before, and I just find it very difficult. I think if someone says, "Oh, you've done well," I disregard it. You know, come my girlfriend giving me a compliment. I've really struggled with it, and especially myself. You know, I never back myself. I'm very weird like that. But yeah, probably the first time I ever thought, God, I've done all right.
That's great. And that's the thing. Sometimes it takes moments like that for us to start realizing that. So who knows where it will go from there. So the other final two questions that I've got for you that I'm going to wrap it up. So, so the two questions that we normally try to ask everyone when they're doing like our Apex challenges, that we always want to say to them, if someone was thinking about kind of signing up for the Apex challenge, or someone was thinking about doing it, they've just signed up and they're not quite sure, what kind of advice would you give to someone if they were thinking about doing the Apex challenge?
Right. If you're thinking about doing it, you've already got it in there that you want to do it. Sign up firstly, because if you keep thinking about it, I'm telling you, you won't do it. Like what we said earlier on, keep thinking you're going to do it, you won't do it. Right. I'm known for being hiker. Everyone says, God, you're dead fit. I don't go to the gym. I sit on my backside in here most of the time if I'm not out. But when I hike, I tend to go on a big hike. Now I'm doing the challenge. I've signed up for it. I've never done anything like that before. The coast to coast things, yeah, great. You know, I've done that event, but it's totally different. You know, you got to walk a long way one day, but then you get to sleep at night, rest, and do it again. So I think it's just challenge yourself. You don't have. It's not you've not failed if you don't get up there 9 times if you're doing it solo. What I'd say is, we're all in it together. There's probably some ultra people, but hopefully they're in the ultra race. You know, it's not a competition against other people in my eyes. It's just you're going to have a really good experience. Just give a good account of yourself. Sign up. You know, I know there's been a lot of advice. I watched the live stream on here about going to the gym and training, and I probably advise you to do all that. I probably won't be doing that. I'll just stick with my hiking and keep getting up the mountains. You know, it works for me. But
it's what works for you. And that's the thing. It's what works for you. Okay, final two questions.
Lying down with cramp on the hill.
Yeah, if you do see Kris lying down, just give his legs a little rub for him. Drop an electrolyte tablet in his mouth, little bit of water, and he'll be fine. Okay, so the final two things. So, is what does Apex mean to you in one word? If you had to sum up the Apex challenge in one word, what would that word be?
I'd say the pinnacle. So the top of what you can do, the biggest challenge. This isn't the biggest mountain. It's not the, it's not the longest amount of days, but it's a big challenge doing it so many times with so little rest in the dark. You know, I've never done anything like that before. So yeah, pinnacle. It's
brilliant. That's a great word. And then the final question is, what is your Everest?
What is my Everest? What do I struggle with? Is that or?
Well, Everest. So for a lot of us, it's like we think about what is your Everest. So for quite a lot of us, we're thinking about what is that thing, that one thing that stands towering in front of me that I go, I want to conquer it. I want to rise to it. What is my Everest? What's that thing? For some people, it might be just getting outside and doing something like a hike. For other people, it might be having the confidence within themselves to do it. For some people, it might be physicality or something. It doesn't matter. But it's like, but what is your Everest?
Yeah. Do you know what? And I don't think I can look ahead and choose something like that. Again, with me, it's just to keep pushing myself and challenging myself and having things to look forward to and to challenge. So, for example, you know, I think I might want to do the coast to coast again. I'll do the Highland Way, and I'm looking for all the long distance hikes. Maybe it's I want to see how many of these I can do in what period. You know, I think mine is just pushing myself to achieve things that I didn't think I could achieve. You know, next. And I actually want to do Everest Base Camp. So
Yeah. There we go. It's there.
I've got a love of Everest. I read everything about it and I'm fascinated with it. So I do want to do that as well.
Awesome. Kris, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much, mate. I really, really appreciate it. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in on that latest interview series. It's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, put the bell notifications on, all that kind of jazz. If you haven't signed up for the Everest Challenge, the Apex Challenge, go on to the link on our websites and sign up now. It is going to be one heck of a ride. And we'll catch you on the next one.